Welcome to our It's Electra series.
In this series, we're going to share with you gear based on and inspired by the Electra Distortion circuit.
Join us on this journey where we get the most tone out of the least circuit. In the episode for the series today, we're actually looking at a guitar. We warned you in our opener that there's guitars, there's pedals, there's cartridges, there's lions, tigers, and bears, there's all kinds of things.
Yes. Today
we're getting into the guitar.
Right, and it is a 1978 Electra MPC X340
You passed the test.
model. And so there's a great, if you're into this stuff, there's a great website out there, River City, is it River City Amps? If I remember, I'll try and put a link down in the description that has tons of information about everything that's Electra. So we got a lot of the information that we're sharing today, especially on the guitar from that website. Because trying to figure out what that knob did up at the top and stuff. On that site, it said this model is made out of...
I had one job. Jacanova?
Jacaranda.
Jacaranda, Jack and Diane, little ditty.
Jacaranda wood.
Yes.
On the top.
Mm-hmm.
A cap on the top.
We might try to get you some better pictures.
But anyway, so this the rabbit hole led us to the MPC modules, which led us to the MPC guitar. We got so far down the rabbit hole, we had to pick one up. We found this one. Dave Barber from Barber Electronics actually sent me an email. It's like, you've seen the one that's for sale on this website. And that actually ended up with us buying it.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's get into it. Let's not mess around here. So
you're going to have to suspend reality for a minute, right? These are not the knobs you're looking for.
Right. Let's cover those up for a minute.
They're not here.
So focusing on the 5-way switch.
Right.
Volume and the tone knob.
Volume, tone.
We're not getting into...
specs, scale length. Very, very Gibson-esque, obviously. Not a medium-sized neck, not a baseball, not a shredder neck, not thin. It's pretty comfortable neck.
If you look at the head, can you see the headstock where you have it right now on the camera? If you look at the head, this is called the Electra Wave. When the MPCs first started, it had more of like the book match thing, very Gibson reminiscent. Tom Presley, who was a product manager at Electra, when he was brought in, one of his jobs was to try and distinguish. They wanted to get away from like the copycats,
right,
and get something of their own. If you look at Reverb, you'll a lot of times see people like, oh, this is the lawsuit model of the Electra, and my understanding from Tom, there was never a lawsuit because they actually changed it before the lawsuit happened. Had they not changed it, I wouldn't be surprised if Gibson wouldn't have had a lawsuit eventually, right? So we have that. The inlays on it are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But
very reminiscent of that era.
You did a very unscientific approach to figuring out that we think the scale length is probably less polish.
Yeah.
And
brass nut ish, or just I can't see that.
I think it is. Yeah. So I mean, it's very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Most importantly, though, sounds. Let's talk sounds. That 5-way selector switch is a little different than what we've seen, and the pickups are different too. I think they're called Superflex pickups. We haven't put an ohmmeter on them or anything, but they typically rate pretty hot. Really hot. Very interesting thing going on down here with they're interesting. Actually, this one has round. Some of them you see have like a square on one side and a round on the other. Anyway, in the weeds. Pickup number 1. So we actually have, I guess this is like the ad that they put out with the guitars.
Mm-hmm.
So pickup on the 5-way selector, which is kind of reminiscent of like the Gibson 6-way. They kind of, it was about the same time. Yeah, about the same time. Well, that's a Veritone. I think there's another Gibson thing.
Okay.
I think. Pickup number 1. This is what they say. Both pickups in series, in phase. One pickup tends to push the other, giving more bass and treble response than any standard guitar. The wiring gives a smooth, full-bodied sound with lots of drive until this year. And this would be like 1968 probably. Until this year, No other major production solid body guitar in the world could attain this sound. You want to give it to him?
Yeah, so the all of it is our clean tone. But the Tyler JT22 and the ever-present Dispatch Master because I need a little sweetener. So I think I'm going to go fingerstyle here.
All right, so if you switch that to number 2, this is bass pickup only. Standard bass pickup wiring for smooth melody leads or bass rhythm playing.
It breaks up a little bit and makes you play wrong chords. But you can hear that bass response.
Number 3. Both pickups in parallel and in phase with each other. This is the standard wiring of most multi-pickup guitars. Each pickup functions independently and gives you a wide range, semi-acoustic sound reproduction. Pickup number 4. Hard driving highs. Oh, this is treble pickup only. Hard driving highs. Not a shallow, hollow treble, but a crisp, full, super high treble with plenty of guts.
Maybe I'll show you the tone knob real quick. It's a tone knob. I figured I'd show it on the brightest pickup and I'd show you the static from 1978.
I was just saying, static is an original that has been added over the last
Patinaed.
40 some years.
And?
50 years. Number 5. Both pickups in series, but out of phase with each other. This gives you a special harmonic presence. Until now, many recording studios did custom wiring jobs on their guitars in order to create this out of phase sound. Play a couple like a single note kind of riff. I feel like that's where you hear it. Maybe you had said earlier about jumping back and forth between that.
So 1 and 4 are the same except the phase. This
1
is
and 5.
1 and 5, sorry. 1 and 5 where I know. So this is out of phase.
Big difference. So
There's some bad playing to show you the pickups. Just the tone knob just on the brightest pickup.
should we go into the next part?
We should go to the next part because I was going to say, but wait, there's more. In our very first episode we ever did, we're like, what guitar and 2 effects would you take to a gig?
Right.
So I asked you that question as I gave you this guitar.
Right, and this could be it. This could be the one guitar and the 2 effects.
That's right.
So on the guitar, you might have noticed that there's 4 knobs, 2 of which, volume and tone. What are the other 2? So the other 2 are controlling the MPC modules, and these 2 switches are controlling whether they're on or off. And I have to tell you, these are like the biggest, chunkiest, solid switches. They're very cool. In the back of the guitar, we have a cavity that opens up, and we can put 2 different modules in. So I have, in the first spot, the MPC-1 phaser and the MPC-12 compressor. And honestly, some of the prices I've seen these things going for on eBay
Almost rivaled the guitar.
almost rival the cost of the guitar. And we have some friends that have been kind enough to send us some of these. And so following this episode, we're going to try and do like little mini episodes on each module to just basically document all the modules. Right now, I think we are potentially going to have our hands on all of them but one. And then we have our hands on some maybe special ones too. So we got the phaser in one. So first switch, kicks the phaser on. First knob, adjusts the speed. So what pickup should I be on?
Probably not the one that's out of phase. The first one is both.
Here we go.
Sorry, I turned the delay off halfway through because we discussed taking it off because we wanted to hear just the purity of that. That phaser's great.
The phaser's really good. The phaser's really good. And then in the next one, we have the compressor. And so the knob for the... So obviously the knob for the phaser was rate. Mm-hmm. The knob for the compressor we think is volume. So I'm going to leave it up all the way. Neither one of us are huge like compressor, like... or finger picking, chicken picking kind of compressor guys. So it's not that I want to play you something that kind of shows you how to use a compressor. I want you to hear it.
Right.
And just like maybe even one note really is helpful. Like we both kind of, I think you kind of looked at me like,
what are you playing?
What is that? And all I did was this. Now with the compressor on.
And that was pretty much wound the whole way up.
Yeah, it was wound the whole way up.
Sensitivity, volume, whichever. We're not exactly 100% sure what it is.
So, it has to be volume because if I roll that knob around a little bit. There's people out there much more knowledgeable about compressors than you and I.
We could grab someone off the street.
Right. Probably.
Although we've had David Barber right here who invented parallel compression, but
and he's
go back and watch that video.
He's definitely one. I'm not sure that I've ever plugged into a compressor that sustained
like that. Right.
Mm-hmm. And that's all I'm going to say about it right now. So, anything else?
I don't know if you want to give him a little flavor of the phase with the compressor.
Flavors and the compressor? I can do that. So what would happen...
I always do that and hope that James Brown will show up.
So
Yeah.
I think that's it. I mean, other than that, double bound body,
Yeah.
Electra branded tuners, but they seem to be all right. They seem to be good. I don't know. What are we missing that people would care about? I don't know.
It's adjustable bridge.
These inlays kill me though. They're beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the inlays. So anyway, I think that's it,
I
right?
think it is it. Other than even our signal has patina. Patinaed signal. Maybe that's our new AKA static.
Right.
It's a really cool concept.
You know, let's end with that because there's still a few people out there doing it. Built guitars. Josh Scott showed one of their guitars, but they're actually making that guitar. Like you can go on their website, you can order it and buy it with effects built into it. His name just slipped my mind, but the guy from Joe Russo's Almost Dead has a guitar, a custom built guitar, very BC Rich looking, has a drive circuit in it, built into the guitar. It's really a cool concept. Like I could really get down with like if I could get Barber to build me the direct drive and a delay pedal to stick in one of my guitars. I think I could really, like you said, this isn't hard. And one of the things that we really had trouble figuring out when we were talking about the series, one of the things I asked like some of the guys we talked to is like, who thought this was a good idea? You know, and later on, somebody even that was involved with it said, well, you know, your feet are always free to be stepping on stuff. Your hands are always moving, but it's not hard to hit that switch, especially when you make it the size of a canoe paddle.
Right.
It's not hard to hit it. I think it's an awesome concept. I would love to explore it a little bit more.
And we're going to.
So, yeah, with that, anything else?
I don't think so.
Thanks everybody that's hitting the subscribe button, clicking the notification bell. Anytime you interact with the show through comments or liking the episode or whatever, it really helps us out. Helps us to keep bringing you cool stuff like the MPC X340 Electra Guitar.
Awesome. And with that, I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding you, no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear. Get in the hot tub!
Close.
Hot tub, hot water. It'll make you sweat.